The thing that's happening here is that Drake is taking DeMar DeRozan's jersey and he's throwing it in the trash or throwing it into the crowd. He's dismissing of it. He's disposing of it. DeMar DeRozan, if you don't know, was a player for the Toronto Raptors before being traded. DeMar DeRozan and Drake were apparently, according to Drake, and actually according to DeMar as well, were very close. DeMar said that he owes Drake, a lot for how good Drake was to him during his he had some low periods, and Drake was very loyal to him, very good friend to him. They were friends while he was in what they call the six. But when the beef broke out between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, DeMar DeRozan somehow ended up in the middle of it. Not in the middle of it, but he became invoked. I would argue it started with Drake, telling Kendrick that he was, got more love in his city than he did. That's debatable. But what we know for sure is when Not Like Us came out, D-Rose, the other D-Rose, not Derrick Rose, but DeMar DeRozan his name got mentioned. And in the actual video for Not Like Us, DeMar DeRozan is there. And I believe DeMar DeRozan was also at the Pop-Out show. So you got all of this Drake animus out there. And at a moment where Drake was probably hoping to lean on his friends, maybe a group hug or something, instead you had people who he thought was on his side scattering. And he is angry. Drake was very angry at two people in particular, LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan. And at a concert, he said he throws DeMar's jersey away. Earlier, he said that he would make sure DeMar's jersey never was retired in Toronto. He went on as a commentator of the game, was talking trash about this. So Drake is striking back. Drake is saying enough. He is being aggressive. We saw the Fighting Irish freestyle. We heard the Fighting Irish freestyle where he was going at LeBron very clearly in a lot of ways that are interesting and problematic to me. But now he's being more vocal about his beef with DeMar than he even was before. I want to know what y'all make of this. One, the fact that Drake is even outside again on doing concerts. Obviously, he was in Australia last week. He's doing shows, but he's also clapping back against his so-called enemies. Actually, Slap, you're one of them. You're our music. I mean, all are music people. But Slap, what do you say?
So first and foremost, I'm neither Drake or Kendrick, right?
Wrong answer. Wrong answer in this room.
That's fine. And Drake makes music for guys that smoke hookah. And it's okay, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you like hookah, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's, one of the pieces that I've been having difficulty with is when you get into these debates is that people have to choose one side or the other. It's like very East Coast, West Coast, you know what I mean? Ja Rule, 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? It's all real very, you know what I'm saying, spatially. You got to choose one side, right? And the whole piece is that humans are complex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a human is all the way, there could be a time in my day when I want to listen to KRS-One, and then there's a time when I want to listen to Uncle Luke. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be both of those things. And I feel like the gatekeepers of hip hop, and I use that it's like, well, if you like Drake, you can't possibly like Kendrick. Or if you like Kendrick, you can't possibly like Drake, right? And so that's weird for me. It's very weird for me inside of the people because nobody is a gangster all the time, right? Even gangsters make love to their women. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's very weird in this dynamic.
If you're a gangster, you make love to your woman or your man. Like, do you have to listen to Drake to do it?
What I'm saying though is that, but he's a guy, right? He's not his niche is very. I tell people all the time that I think Drake is the illegitimate son of LL Cool J. That's where his style comes from. It is very much so appealing to ladies. Ladies love Cool James. Ladies love Cool Drake. That's what it is. Okay. Look, that ain't for every mood all the time.
Do they?
I'm just giving you. I'm giving you what birthed his style. I'm not saying that it's absolute. But let me add this last caveat to the part that you just talked about, which is weird. And I am going to tell you that a rapper having a beef with a basketball player is weird. It is. But you know what? At the end of the day, a rapper has a mic. What is he going to go fight a 6'8", you know what I'm saying, 260-pound LeBron James? Is he going to approach 6'7", you know what I'm saying, DeMar DeRozan? No, he's not. What he's going to do is he's going to use his microphone as his weapon. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If someone tells me that I've been at my house, you've been in my house, I fed you, I helped you out in dark times and all those particular pieces, right? If that's what you're saying about me, and then I see you with the ops, then yeah, I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care what that friendship and loyalty is an important piece. And a lot of people not holding that is that like, yo, how he not going to be mad if I broke bread with you and then you got to do a song about me? I don't care that it's all Compton or LA or anything else that you want to say that's for the culture. This dude is directly dissing me and I supported you. You can't be out here in that dude video, man. And loyalty means something. You know what I'm saying? And so if people want to say what they want to say, that Drake is weird, but one of the real codes of the street is loyalty and friendship. And if you out here hanging out with my op, then it means that you was fake to me from the beginning. If you want to call me fake, that's cool. But at the same time, you fake over there, and I'm gonna call you out on it. And
I mean, that's an interesting point, Chris. What do you say? I mean, I understand. I'm not a Drake fan, although I appreciate Drake's talent. I think Drake's a phenomenal rapper. Even if I don't always like the music he makes, he's phenomenally skilled. I'll just say, you know. When Drake commits to rapping, he can rap his ass off. You know, I don't like the music he makes all the time, but he can rap. I don't agree with Drake tactically, but like what Slap is saying is kind of an interesting point. I mean, DeMar DeRozan does not dispute how close they were. The loyalty piece of this, you know, when DeMar DeRozan was at his worst, when he got traded, when he was feeling at his lowest, he would go to Drake's house, according to both of them. And Drake was there for, you know, Drake probably made him hot cocoa or brownies or some shit, you know, and he sat there and they kicked it, you know, like, so he said, I owe Drake forever. He said, Drake is my guy. So if you acknowledge Drake is that loyal, like, is Drake wrong? I mean, like, I feel like it's easy to pile on Drake, but like,
Drake's not wrong for having feelings. Drake's wrong for hopping up and down on a stage randomly and seemingly off rhythm while tossing the jersey into the crowd, making a spectacle of a thing that doesn't have to be. So, like, you know, it's not that he has a justification for feeling some kind of way. It's the way you're doing it just looks silly. It's back to the Shamar Moore argument, right? Like, you might be right to be mad, but the way that you're showcasing that look real corny. Like it's the equivalent of, you know, the braids in the whatever movie. It just looks silly, and so there's got to be a way to get it done. And what you said, bro?
Hurt people.
I mean,
Indeed, but it's just not the way to do it. Particularly if you're talking about what happened, sis.
I didn't hear what he said.
Like, they hurt people. I'm like, that was hurtful. Like, off rhythm dancing and throwing a jersey, an attempt to hurt. Or show is hurt.
I mean, publicly trash somebody's jersey. How do you make sense of it, Treva?
It's not a make sense of. I've given up on making sense of. I was long never a fan of Drake, but that's fine. It's not about him being unskilled. It was never my kind of music.
You were an early adopter of the Drake beat.
Was very early on. I don't know about a hate train, but I'm very like indifferent, right? For a while. I think I'm more vocal, but what I felt in that moment, much like his like written hoodie that's smoking out on stage, all of this, I'm just kind of done, right? With it all. I feel like all of his responses feel really whack, and therefore it adds to a narrative that does exist that he is whack, right? In various ways, whether it's the suing, whether it's bullets, whether it's his responses, his inability to kind of have a real win in this particular battle for any kind of sustained period of time. Like, I think that is what this gives me. It feels like another thing that's that. I understand that he feels the way he feels about DeMar DeRozan. Like, I would get it too. Like, it would be a lot. I don't know these men. I don't know what happened between these men, these very rich people. I have no idea what happened between them that would do something that I would read as disloyal as well. I don't want to pretend that wouldn't be the case, but it's always like Drake is going to perform a particular kind of thing that is resolutely uninteresting to me. So each move he's made makes him less interesting to me as a fan of hip hop, as a fan of period. And I don't know that that's the goal. He's coming out to shows where people and they're still cheering for him. Drake is going to be okay, no matter He's still gonna be $100 millionaire, enjoying his best life, doing what he's doing, even despite that, which tells you how much of a superstar he was. I'm just saying he is not somebody I have a ton of love for or am interested in as an artist.
Well, that's an interesting point, right? Because as much as Drake has fallen off, and as much as people say Drake is at the lull of his career and all this stuff, Drake is still a top-selling artist. He's still the most popular artist. He's still the most streamed artist. Drake is not losing at that level. I mean, there's a
Drake hasn't fallen off. Drake has lost one slice of his audience, because what he's done really brilliantly is he's found ways to make inroads into, for good or for bad, inroads into these cultural musical niches. So like Drake got UK drill audiences that love him. He's got Afrobeats audiences that love him. He's got reggae audiences that love him. He's got hip hop audiences that may not love him as much. But because of the ways that he sort of diversified his skill set, again, for good or for bad, because many would argue that it's like sort of a vulture kind of approach to sort of like performing culture. So he's lost a slice of the hip hop audience, but writ large, he's going to be all right. Shout to 40.
I mean, he is all right. He has the #1 streaming album on Apple. They broke a record. You know what I'm saying? Like the February 14th album dropped, and he got streamed more than anybody. I mean, you have to understand that fanatics of people are fanatics. They don't just, oh, my person lost. I mean, it's the same way. You just said the New York Knicks were the greatest franchise in history, and they've been losing.
That's true, though.
Chris, were you alive when the last time the Knicks won a championship?
He was not.
Wow. So was Rick Nixon president the last time the Knicks won a championship, or was it Gerald Ford? What year?
So again, we don't mark the quality of the current team on the championship. We talk about the synergy of the team. We talk about their grit, their resilience, their ability to deal with injury, how well a team is constructed. We talk about all those dynamics. We're not talking about championship per se.
All that ambiguous shit. Yeah.
Just to put a button hook on this Drake piece, from me, right? You know what I'm saying? Again, I think humans are diverse, right? I mean, I'm an R&B guy. There's R&B for everybody, right? There's the R&B that's emotional, deeply, you know what I'm saying? There's R&B that's begging for forgiveness, and there's R&B that's singing from the mountaintops about love. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the gamuts of it exist. I just don't understand why people just don't understand the gamut. Like, hip-hop doesn't have any room for emoting. Right. And that's the craziest piece about it. It's just like, your perception of being in hip hop is one certain thing. But I know that I grew up in North Philadelphia. I had a friend named Big DS. Big DS, you don't say nothing bad about Big DS because he's going to come punch you in the face. Right. But I had another friend, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to call him because I'm about to say something maybe a little bit more disparaging. He was a small brother. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that big. He weighed about 80 pounds. He was about 5'2". You know what I'm saying? The way that he struck back at things, you know what I'm saying, when he emoted wasn't to fight. It was, you know what I'm saying, he gonna hit you with some rhetoric and some slick punchlines. You know what I'm saying? He gonna whisper to some girls some nasty things about you so that you're less liked. Like, everybody fights back in a different way. Everybody wants to fight to look a certain way. And that's just not the way that the world works. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm not a Drake defender. Hey, I think that Nice for What is a great song, and I think it's a great song. I've seen women dance to it. It's an uplifting song. I love that song. I love to watch women's reaction. Right? You know what I'm saying? And listen, Not Like Us was crazy. I don't want to hear it too many more times because goodness gracious, I need some time off from that song. But it's a crazy song, and it was awesome. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, my favorite Kendrick verse comes from Black Friday with him and J. Cole switching, you know what I'm saying, pieces. If y'all ain't know nothing about that, go ahead and get on that because that's pretty awesome. But at the end of the day, like, again, there's music for everybody. And I think that this beef has created such visceral hate one side or the other. And much like the Kobe and LeBron argument or the MJ and LeBron argument, like, you can appreciate both artists for whatever it is that they worth, or you can not, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of skip over.